So United's search for a new left-back might have just thrown up a really good alternative to Lewis Hall. And that's Jorge Salinas. 19 years old, left-footed, 6 foot tall, plays for Racing Santander, and reportedly has a €16 million release clause. United have been linked with him if the deal for Lewis Hall becomes too difficult, which, let's be honest, it probably will be. And ever since we've been linked to Salinas, I've been watching his tapes. And immediately, I want to make something clear. Salinas isn't just a cheaper alternative to Lewis Hall. They're actually quite different profiles. Hall is the more established, attacking, Premier League ready fullback. Salinas then is almost like the left-back, centre-back sort of hybrid player. Think of like the Arsenal fullbacks over the last few years. Salinas fits more into that sort of mould. He's bigger, more aggressive, very good in the air, and he's also very comfortable progressing the ball as well. At only 19 years of age, he provides a decent option now for United's fullback position. But in today's video, I want to break it all down. Exactly why United are looking at him, his strengths and his weaknesses. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's get into it.
Let's go! Let's go!
And his first strength is the fact that he is very good on the ball. And this is probably one of the main reasons that Carrick would be really interested in Salinas. He's a natural left footer, which really does help from that left-hand side. He really does look comfortable building attacks from deep. He has an ability to play both short and longer passes. His vision and his willingness to really carry the ball forward will be really useful for any team now. He'll also step inside rather than just constantly hugging the touchline. Salinas can draw pressure, step forward, and actually break that first line as well. And crucially, he just isn't scared of the ball. He's got a really good confidence with it. Obviously from that sort of Spanish school of coaching, very comfortable with the ball. At such a young age, you need that confidence to be able to transfer that then into the rest of your game. With Carrick obviously wanting his team to really progress through the phases with the ball now, Salinas can be a very good addition to Carrick's United. And his second strength that I really noticed was his crossing ability. And this did sort of surprise me. Because when you look at Salinas, obviously, you look at his physicality and you might think he's someone that doesn't provide a lot in the attacking areas. But last season, he did have a very good year and he produced 7 assists for his club. For a sort of 18, 19-year-old defender, that's very good production. And the delivery itself backed that up then. He can hit crosses from the deeper areas and he's got a really good quality in his left foot. He's not necessarily going to dribble past a load of players. That's not really his playing style. But if you get him into space, give him someone in the box to aim at, he can really deliver. And that's another reason why he's not really the Lewis Hall clone. They are sort of different players. Hall gives you that bit more of sort of dynamism, but Salinas then, he gives you more of that physical presence, but he also gives you the delivery from the deeper positions as well. And strength number 3, he is that proper defender. And this might sort of be actually his biggest selling point. Salinas is very aggressive. He likes to come into contact with the opposition. He's very strong and aggressive in his duels. And he's really good in his aerial duels as well. Obviously now, with United losing Casemiro from last season, United's team is looking a bit suspect in the sort of aerial duels and the height of their team. Salinas will help in that regard. Salinas overall won't shy away from a tackle. He's very aggressive. Sometimes that can work against him. Talk a bit about that later on. But overall, the defensive side of his game, there is stuff to work on. That's normal for a young player. But really the traits are there for him to be sort of come into the Premier League and suit really the physicality of it anyway. And his last strength that I really do want to talk about is the fact that he can also play as a centre-back. Given his height and given the aggressive nature to his defending, he can play as that left-sided centre-back. He did it in the youth levels coming through in Spain, and that's really interesting sort of squad building wise for United now. We know we've got a lot of injury-prone centre-backs, particularly looking at Alessandro Martinez in that left centre-back spot. So Salinas coming in would predominantly be coming in for that left-back position, but he could also play some games from that centre-back spot as well, given the fact that United now have Champions League football, potentially playing sort of 50 games next season. Having these players that can sort of be a bit more of a hybrid type and play multiple different positions. You see it again, I've said about the sort of Arsenal fullbacks, having players like Calafiori who can play multiple different positions. that can help you, obviously, over the course of the season. But now, looking at Salinas and his weaknesses, and because obviously sort of 16 million euros, for that price, you're not expecting really to get the finished article. And the first weakness that I do really want to talk about is sort of potentially now how the athleticism really translates to the Premier League. You're looking at that physicality. On the face of things, it looks as if Salinas could do the job in the Premier League. But you never quite really know, and that's always the risk. That's why Ineos have been looking for the Premier League proven players, because you know they can match the physicality of the Premier League. Salinas, it does look as if he's got that sort of athleticism and the game to come into the Premier League and do a really good job from the off. But you don't quite know for such a young player, obviously coming from the sort of Spanish setup, you don't quite know how that game is really going to translate. And because he is that little bit taller, how do you cope then going up against a sort of a winger with a low centre of gravity, someone who's really tricky? Can you handle the sort of 1v1 threats out wide, sort of on the bigger stage? How is he going to handle that now? And that's something United do need to look at. Secondly, I've spoken about his aggression. It can be a really good thing, but that also does come with a risk then. Because I like my defenders to be aggressive. I don't like them being really passive and sitting off the attackers. But obviously, that does come with his risk. Salinas does love stepping forward, and he tries to win that possession really early. But if you get that wrong in the Premier League, that can really hurt your team, and that's just something to really work on. Obviously, the coaching staff need to teach him when to be aggressive and when to sometimes sit back a little bit more. And then thirdly, talking about his weaknesses, he's not that sort of attacking fullback. Spoken about the differences between him and Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall sometimes doesn't like going around the outside all that often, likes to come in field. Salinas is very similar. He's not going to be that guy who's really bombing past Cunha if allowing Cunha to come in field. Salinas isn't going to constantly do those overlapping runs from the left-hand side. Different type of fullback. He's more used to sort of staying a little bit deeper, crossing from those deeper positions. So if United are going to be signing him, expecting him to be that really dynamic attacking fullback, he just simply isn't that guy. Overall, there really is a lot to like about Salinas and his game. My worry is the fact that sort of if United are going to be signing him, we want someone who can come in and do a job straight away. And I'm not quite so sure Salinas is that guy. He potentially can be, but he's more sort of a prospect signing. But United will obviously the potential of, you're looking at next season playing so many games. Luke Shaw really being the only fullback that Carrick really trusts right now. Does he trust Dogu to be playing in that left-back spot? So if someone like Salinas was going to come in, you'd want him to be ready. Obviously, someone like a Lewis Hall would be ready straight away. Salinas, I'm just not quite so sure. But you can definitely see why the data and the scouting department have been suggesting his name. All the raw tools are there. It's just a question of now whether sort of he's ready and whether United really want to take that gamble on a young player. But you can see sort of why United have been looking at him. What do you guys think though? Let me know down in the comments down below. Who do you want United to sign for that left-back spot? There's a couple of other names being floated around. It's not just Lewis Hall and Salinas. Obviously, Raum from the German league as well is another one. Seen people suggesting Trufe from Bournemouth, but doesn't look as if United are looking at him right now. But let me know down in the comments down below, guys. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you're new around here. I'll catch you in the next one.